back here. It's very exciting. It's like a blast from the past. But I'm very excited to be back in chapel and seeing everyone this morning. So today I'm going to talk to you all about an experience I had in January. I was able to honor the life and spirit of Taylor Anderson. And if you don't know who Taylor Anderson is, that's okay. You will by the end of this presentation. So some of you may know me. We might have been here at the same time. Some of you may not, so that's okay. So here's a little blurb about me from my days at St. Catherine's. And now I'm going to tell you about my time at Randolph-Macon College. So I was in Mr. Bader's advisory. We were BFFs. I did ampersand. I was co-editor of the Atelier, and I was white team captain. And people in college don't understand how exciting that is. It's just a St. Catherine's thing, but that's okay. And I graduated in the class of 2014 with Julia Warren, who's in the back. She goes to Randolph-Macon with me now. And now I'm at Randolph-Macon College, so just about 20-25 minutes north of here. Some of the junior classes, everyone come here last week. So I'm a psychology major and an elementary education minor. I'm an orientation leader, a tour guide, an academic mentor. I'm in a sorority, and I'm still best friends with Julia. So thankfully, a lot of things have changed, but not everything did. So that was a little bit about me. Hello, it's nice to meet you. So now I'll talk about why I'm here. Just out of curiosity, how many of you remember the name Taylor Anderson? Sounds familiar? Everyone, yeah. Well, for those of you that don't know, Taylor Anderson is an alum of St. Catherine's here in my college, Randolph-Macon. She graduated from STC in 2004, so many of us were just little babies back then. But Taylor was a truly incredible person. After graduating from Randy Mack, Taylor went to Japan to be a teacher through the JET program. While only in Japan for a short time, Taylor taught English in 7 different schools, ranging from preschool age all the way to high school. Unfortunately, she passed away in the tsunami that occurred in March of 2011, almost 5 years ago. We think that Taylor was trying to ride her bike home to call her parents to let them know that she was all right and didn't make it. Taylor was one of 2 Americans who passed away in the 2011 tsunami. I remember sitting in this very room when I was a freshman, and Dr. White told us that one of our alums had passed away. So jump back with me to my first week of classes this year as a sophomore. After one of my education classes ended, we were packing up. And no one really listens to the teacher when you start packing up. Sorry teachers, it's the thing. So one of my professors says, there's a trip going to Japan this January for our January term. And I'm thinking, whatever, not interested, I've already signed up for a class. And then my professor says, it's in honor of one of our alums, Taylor Anderson. I stop. I know that name. Everyone else continues packing up and not listening, but I know that name. So I talked with my professor, got the information about the trip, and later that day I called my mom, who's also sitting in the back. Hey, Mom. And I said, so what do you think about me going to Japan? And she was like, what? Hello? What are you talking about? And I explained the whole trip and everything, and she said, yeah, go for it. As if it was going to the grocery store. Yeah, go to Japan. So shout out to my mom for putting up with that crazy idea and letting me go. So this trip was offered to the students during our January term. We would spend 2 weeks in Japan, visiting schools and comparing U.S. and Japanese education. While in the U.S., we visited 3 schools, so we would have something to compare the Japanese schools to, as well as our own experiences. As a part of the 8 schools in Japan we were visiting, 2 of them would be Taylor's schools. Of course, I couldn't go empty-handed. In each of Taylor's schools, there's a book bunko. It's a little space filled with books written in English with a Japanese translation. This is so the kids can practice reading in English and have the translation right there for reassurance. I decided I would have a book drive at Randolph-Macon. I projected I would collect about 10 to 15 books. Somehow, through the blessings of great friends and a supportive college community, I traveled to Japan with 99 books to donate. It was very heavy. I brought 2 extra suitcases. In addition, I held a bookmark booth for Randolph-Macon students to decorate bookmarks to be handed out to the students. I was able to donate 216 bookmarks to her elementary students. And finally, St. Catherine's generously gave me 200 pencils to give to her junior high students. So with all of that, we would for sure be remembered in her schools. So this is Ishinomaki on the map of Japan. It is right on the coast, causing it to get hit the hardest. Here's a shot after they started rebuilding, but essentially everything was destroyed. So once we finally made it to Japan, we traveled to 4 different cities. We spent about 2 days in Ishinomaki where Taylor taught. Her 2 schools we visited were Mangokura Elementary School and Inai Junior High. We would be observing classes, talking with the students as best as we could with our translator, and seeing the impact Taylor had in these schools. Each time we entered into one of the schools, the principal would greet us and tell us how he remembered Taylor. Essentially, everyone said the same thing. She was incredible. She was an involved teacher, happy, enthusiastic, encouraging, and a real light. Not only in the schools, but around the community as well, everyone knew Taylor. She inspired so many around her. I can only hope that I have the same impact when I become a teacher after I graduate. Being in our schools were equally rewarding and sad, but we tried to keep it positive. When we donated the books, the students were so excited. As you can see from the photos, they're pretty adorable. And they were just so happy to be receiving such a huge donation. Something interesting about Japanese schools is that they generally don't get any visitors. So not only were they freaking out because we were there, but we came with gifts. So it was a real win-win for us and those 2nd graders. In this photo, this is a plaque over the Taylor Anderson book bunko stating, "In memory of Taylor Anderson and all loved ones lost on March 11th, 2011. And in each of Taylor's schools, near or above the book bunko, there are these 3 stickers. And I apologize for the mirror selfie, this one was right on the mirror. The top sticker is Taylor showing off Ishinomaki. The second is a view of Ishinomaki from Hirayama Park, which shows all the land right up against the Pacific Ocean. And third, which I believe is the most important, is the Japanese and American flag next to each other. This is important to me because it not only shows the partnership we created, but the shared connection we have from Taylor. When everyone in the schools and the community kept raving about Taylor and how special she was, I was incredibly proud to say we came from both St. Catherine's and Randolph-Macon College. You might not know it now, but going to St. Catherine's is an absolute gift. Through her education at both schools, she was qualified and confident enough to travel over 13 hours away to a new country and teach children. She made a huge difference. One girl is able to make a difference. This thought stuck in my head and it still sticks. Taylor made a huge difference through education and in the lives of hundreds of students. All of us can make a difference. Through St. Catherine's education, I have not only learned so much, but I was given the confidence and the knowing that I can do anything and I can change lives. I hope each one of you know the impact you can have on the world. It might not be now, or even before you graduate high school, but one girl can always make a difference.